across the globe. This Boris FX Sapphire is a firm feature in leading production houses across the globe. This Emmy Award-winning collection of video filters has been seen in your favourite feature films, TV shows, commercials and music videos. Synonymous with quality and speed, Sapphire's collection of over 270 effects stretches over all corners of visual post-production. Packed with glows, flares, blurs, looks, warps, textures, backgrounds, transitions, a one-of-a-kind effect builder, integrated mocha tracking, thousands of presets, and hundreds of effects that defy description. No wonder the Sapphire is Hollywood's secret weapon, and the choice of the world's best editors and artists for all their visual effects needs. Let's take a closer look at what makes Sapphire, Sapphire. Everyone needs glow, and Sapphire Ultra-Glow is the latest evolution of the legendary S-Glow, the most popular and widely loved glow effect in the post-production industry. At its core, Ultra-Glow was designed to emulate a real-world optical-based glow, beautiful, soft, and natural looking. Packed with features and presets, it wraps your footage in a blanket of light and can take the ordinary looking into the extraordinary. For sophisticated and elegant lens flares, Sapphire Lens Flare is the shining jewel in the crown. It comes with an ever-growing library of well over 100 modern, professionally designed and curated flares. These range from photorealistic flares based on real-world optics to stylistic flares that coat your pictures in light. Flares can auto-animate with triggers, occlusions, and be tracked in with a built-in Mocha planar tracker. Customize existing flares with a flare designer, or create your own masterpieces from scratch. Editors and colorists understand the importance of colour in their projects. Colour grades and looks are a core part of the Sapphire Stylized collection. Use film effect to finish the perfect look to any scene. Damage filters can bring back the feel of technologies from a different era. Use them to subtly imbue a period look, or be brash and tear it up completely. Creative glitch artists can let loose their imagination to create arresting looks with the Stylized category. For example, Pixel Sort groups lines of pixels together based on your chosen criteria. Like almost all Sapphire filters, Mocha is built directly into the plugin, allowing for tracked masks on your effect. Sometimes you just need to build something out of nothing, and that's a job for the render group. These provide the building blocks for motion backgrounds, texturized text, and even realistic night scenes. Also included here is Ultra Zap, an electricity and stroke effect. Creating photoreal electric bolts, fields, arcs and currents has never been easier. Ultra Zap can stand on its own with a customizable animatable spline structure, or wrap it around native Adobe After Effects paths and time. Perfect for creating custom neon effects or any electrifying motion graphics look. Mocha planar tracking is available for individual point tracking. Sapphire Ultra Zap is perfect for any VFX composite. The Distort category contains mainstay effects for editors and motion graphics artists to create psychedelic backgrounds and chromatic aberration effects, and VFX artists looking to add silky smooth photorealistic lens distortion. In the Distort group you'll find Shake, an editor's favourite, giving you fast and flexible camera shake for a range of staple effects, plus the most beautiful and silky warp effects you'll see. Any professional artist will tell you that blurs and sharpens are the most useful effect types in visual effects. Sapphire has a wide selection to fit your needs. These include natural-looking defocus blurs for video and Z-depth-driven 3D render passes, fast skin smoothing with Sapphire Beauty, and many more stylized sharpening and blur looks, such as Sapphire Free Lens. Free Lens takes its inspiration from the shooting technique called free lensing, which is where you shoot with a lens detached from the camera. This creates an interesting combination of effects like light leaks, lens distortion, tilt shift, and moving depth of field, all linked together in Free Lens under one master lens manipulation parameter. This effect is used for a huge variety of editorial and effect tasks. Or cheat your way to success and use it as a quick way to add a stylized look to motion backgrounds. Elegant, fast, high quality, easy to use. These are what editors look for in video transitions, and why Sapphire Transitions remains the best choice when more than a simple dissolve is required. Packed with high energy options, Sapphire Transitions add style and panache to a cut with a few simple clicks. Mimic a lightning-quick camera pan with whiplash. Warp seamlessly with hyper push. Never think about white flashing again with glow dissolves. Dynamic, modern, packed with presets. Sapphire Transitions are simply a must-have tool for any editor. Unique to Sapphire is the Sapphire Builder. Imagine a simple way to combine your favorite Sapphire effects to design your own shareable looks and transitions. Builder lets you do just that. Slot together filters in the nodal interface, including animations and masks. Select which parameters to show back in the host UI, and you have your own unique effect. These are not simply presets. With Builder, you create your own effects or transitions. Save them and share them, even between different host applications. Of course, Builder has its own library of presets for you to use, customize, and riff on, for intricate motion backgrounds, eye-catching effects, and face-melting transitions. Sapphire's Builder places the power and variety of Sapphire into your creative hands. But what use are over 270 effects and more than 3,000 presets if the resulting image isn't visually pristine? Or even worse, if that quality comes at the expense of speed? That's why Sapphire's legendary image processing algorithms are fully GPU accelerated on all platforms, with full CPU fallbacks for all effects. Power, speed, quality, beauty. This is Sapphire. Visit borisfx.com to download a free trial of Sapphire and find hours of free Sapphire training, all at borisfx.com.
Really got to get myself out of here.
I've been raving and misbehaving.
Yeah.
Ravers are going to rave.
Yeah.
Watch me slide. Watch me wiggle.
You're beginning to annoy me.
Baby. Misbehaving.
Standing room only. No bleachers, no special chairs. We like the grit here. It's madness. Get here early and be prepared to get your best shoes stepped on. It's bigger than South Jamaica, Queens. New York, New York is the pro-am of high school basketball. Sports changed my life because it gave me the opportunity to help kids from the environment that I'm from. Coming to a Lincoln Park and getting to see some of the city's stars, they put it in their minds that they could be that guy out there representing Lincoln Park.
Sports changed my life because when I became a mother, I was unsure. But once I saw we loved the same sport, it made it a whole lot easier.
That beat me. You wrong there, Ma.
I use basketball as a platform to raise him to be the man that he's gonna be when he get older. So I bring him to this park, and it's a bunch of mentors, coaches, guys I grew up with.
Everybody in the park has a little history with Malachi. I used to coach Malachi's mother.
They tell you, I'm everybody's uncle.
Yeah, this is...
But it's just being around the kids, making sure they did the right thing.
My dream is to make it to the NBA.
They're going to watch her for Malachi.
That name, we'll never forget that name. Gonna ring bells.
That's right for the car.
She always teaches me new things. And she wants to push me to be the best that I can.
Basketball player, doctor, lawyer, coach. My job is to just make sure he's prepared for whatever when I'm not there.
Adam Thielen! What a grab!
Her legacy as one of the all-time greats is surely complete. She's the world champion once again.
History, the first Japanese male to win a major championship, Hideki Matsuyama.
From brief stint as a homeless man in Paris, France, to the greatest show in mixed martial arts.
It's Eileen Gu. She's an X Games rookie, but doesn't let it show.
Welcome to Boris FX Live, sponsored by Dell Precision Workstations, create without limits, and by NVIDIA and Intel.
Hello, and welcome to Boris FX Live. My name is Ben Brownlee, and we have got a huge show coming up today. If you've been watching the pre-roll, you'll have seen some of the work from our special guest today, Mr. Jake Benjamin, Jake to the B, who is going to be coming on. He's an editor from New York, going to be talking about the process of editing, and we're going to be talking about a lot of different stuff, including some of his latest work, which you might have seen on the intro to Black Widow, just a tiny little film there. And coming up after that, Brian and myself are going to be talking about our 5 favorite effects that all editors should know in Premiere Pro. All right, so let's get on. We've got a bit of sponsorship to get around because this live stream doesn't actually produce itself. We want you to ask your questions live. We are live, and we enjoy listening to you. I'm sure you're going to have tons and tons of questions as the time goes on. So what you have to do, if you're watching on YouTube, there is a lovely little chat box for you to type in your questions. And if you're watching on borisfxlive.com, the chat box is over to the right-hand side of your screen. You type in your questions, hit send, and we will do the rest. What is another reason to go and visit borisfxlive.com, though? Of course, we have got some competitions today. So if you want a chance to win one of our big prizes or one of our smaller prizes, head on over to borisfxlive.com, scroll down to the bottom of the page, and just enter all of your details in the little box down there. Full terms and conditions are available on the website. All right, so I want to say thank you to our sponsors, NVIDIA, Dell, and Intel, for helping us to keep these live streams going. We've been going, well over a year now, and we're still going strong. So thank you very much to our sponsors. A special thanks to Dell Precision Workstations, the #1 workstation brand in the world. So thank you very much for Dell for their Precision Workstations, which are liberally spread around the Boris FX offices. Okay, well, I can't do it myself. Obviously, I've been on holiday for the last couple of weeks, so the rust is still just getting scraped off. I want to say hello to Brian Fox in Mission Control. Hello, Brian Fox.
Hello, Ben. Hello, everyone. Super excited. We have an amazing show today. For those of you that don't know, Jake and I worked together way back in the early 2000s. Jake was an assistant editor at a company I worked at. The student has become the teacher, my friend, right? Fresh off cutting a badass open to Black Widow. Super proud of this guy. And this is going to be a fun conversation to hear. Although we cannot show the opening credits to Black Widow for fear of mysteriously our stream getting cut midway, right? by a certain comic book company. But everyone should definitely go to Disney Plus and check out Black Widow. It is a good film. I was pleasantly surprised. I really enjoyed it. And we'll talk about the opening titles as well. Ben, I'm starting things off white hot. I apologize. I do not have graphics ready for our prizes, but I do know.
That's fine. I know what our prizes are as well.
Okay,
I was waiting for the graphics.
I have a special graphic for the special prize, right? But
okay,
the first two you can just talk about.
Well, I know one of them, which is going to be our we're giving away a year subscription for Sapphire, I do believe.
Correct.
That's
We're
one of them.
Give away 12 months of Sapphire, $8.95 multi-host license, multi-host. So works.
It's very nice.
Anything we make. Yep. That's one.
I also know that the second prize we're giving away is a 12-month, not a year, a 12-month subscription to the Boris FX Suite.
Correct. Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes. We're going to give 12 months of the Boris FX Suite. Same thing, multi-host, right? Works in everything. After Effects, Premiere, Resolve, Flame. Works in anything we work in.
And the Boris FX Suite is obviously everything that we make. That includes Sapphire, that we're going to be seeing a bit later today, Continuum, Mocha Pro, Silhouette, and, of course, Optics. So we've got some other prizes, though, haven't we?
We do. We have, Ben, you can talk about it. I'll show it.
I've been waiting for this for ages. We've got merch.
We do.
Everyone's been asking.
It's hot swag.
When Boris FX, when are you getting your swag going? And we now have merch. We have t-shirts, we have hoodies, we have lady sweaters, and we have mugs. We've got tons of swag. If you want to have a look at the swag, you can either type in the thing that's there at the top, or actually, if you go have a look at the top of the chat in YouTube, you will have a little link straight to our merch store. Look at that. Or, look at that. There it is. Excellent stuff. So no more people asking us, where's your swag? Where's your t-shirts? Can I get a t-shirt? You just have to now say, can I get a t-shirt with your face on it then? And I will say, maybe next time.
I will be ordering those t-shirts.
We do ship worldwide. We do ship worldwide. They are fulfilled in the US and the EU. So if you're living in the EU, you won't have to pay customs because they will come straight to you from the EU. Yay!
Much thanks to Ross Shane who led the charge on this and got all this up. And I will say, Ross, We see you. We see you with the fanny packs, right? We see the jokes. So thank you, Ross, for getting that stuff up. So we're gonna give away 5 lucky winners today. Are gonna get their choice from anything in the store. So that's pretty cool. So pretty awesome. So go ahead and enter at borisfxlive.com. You could be entered to win. And at the end of the stream, we will announce 5 lucky winners who get to pick anything they want from the store.
borisfxlive.com. There we go.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Let's do it. I can't wait anymore. We've hung around for too long. I want to get to our guest. And here he is. Hello. This is big welcome to Boris FX Live, Mr. Jake Benjamin, aka Jake to the B.
What up, Jake?
What's up, guys?
You look comfortable. you look comfortable. I appreciate that. Love that. Always want our guests to be comfortable on the show. So thank you for joining us. Appreciate you coming on.
Yes.
100%. Let's talk, my friend. So I want to get in a little bit. First off, I want to talk about the Black Widow titles, which we can't show. But I want to give you a little bit of my feedback. Ever your editor, right?
So I start my career getting your feedback, and now I'm still getting your feedback.
Full loop, my friend.
Yeah.
Full loop.
20 years later. I'll
give you my honest appraisal. So the opening title sequences to Black Widow are an amazing edit, right? And it's really struck me in a different way because we're used to the structure of Marvel movies in the recent Avengers and Spider-Man. It's like they get right into it. They get right into the story. Before you know it, everything's happening. And then at the end, right, we're used to a big opening title sequence with some usually amazing CG and some beautiful motion graphics. Some of the most cutting edge stuff is always at the end of Marvel movies. Black Widow flipped it up, right, and started with that little open that set up the story so well, and then dropped your edit like right in the middle, which for everyone who hasn't seen is like an emotional gut punch, like a beautifully paced set to remake of Smells Like Teen Spirit, this like hauntingly melodic cover with you just setting up Natasha's story, like everything that we don't get to see, right? Like her introduction to the Red Room, her becoming one of the world's assassins, the villain in the movie being involved in every major world collapse since then. It just keeps punching you and punching you and punching you. It's a relentless cut. It's super stylistic. We'll talk about your style in a bit, but there's definitely some of your like classic, like fast cuts are in there. And it is like fully engrossing to the point of like a real emotional experience. So I want to say congratulations to that. It really was unexpected, and it sets up the movie so beautifully because for me personally, like I'm all in on Natasha now, like versus I was a little bit like, Black Widow, the character, not really fully understanding what she went through and what her sister went through and how she was ripped from her parents. And like, so that's my initial reaction. I would love to show it, and I would love to really kind of in-depth talk about it, but understand this is still a live movie on Disney Plus, right? So we can't show it. Obviously. And in theaters, right? Theaters. Yeah. 100% in theaters. So congratulations on that.
Theaters.
I remember theaters.
I remember
Ben,
theaters.
What did you think of it, Ben? Because you come from a different place. I'm a full-on Marvel fanatic, but I know.
Yeah. This is my third Marvel film that I've ever seen. So this came from a very different place than I was expecting. So like I didn't really know what to expect, and all of a sudden, 15 minutes into the film, we have this big opening, and the opening does a lot of heavy lifting, and I was sort of waiting for just your typical kind of a title sequence that would show who was in it and then get on to the rest of the film. But I mean, the question I've got for you is that, this title sequence does a lot of narrative heavy lifting. It certainly sort of does a lot of world building, tells the story for people like me, who's obviously going to be in the minority, who haven't seen the whole history and don't really know what's going on. So, my question is, like, there's how much of that, like world building, the use of archival footage and fake archival footage, how much of that informed your choices for how you cut it, how you edited it?
I mean, it 100% informed my choices. Like that was the entire reason why it's an editorial opening versus, like, you know, one of those classic CG openings. Is there was a story that needed to be told, and I got hired to help them. I was working for a completely awesome company called Perception. And
shout out to Perception NYC, right? Amazing work, amazing UI work.
Amazing work. And one of the most amazing teams I've ever worked with. And they had one goal, was to tell this backstory, and they wanted to figure out a way to do it. And editorially was the route they wanted to go. And so a lot of that stuff, you're figuring it out. Like, it's a creative process. It's not like you're handed footage. So it's cool. It's very collaborative.
Because it felt to me like it wasn't like in the style of a big superhero thing. In many ways, it had the sort of stylings of a you know, true crime documentary in some ways, but, you know, taken onto the global stage. You know, that bigger archival you know, style.
I mean, they brought on an editor that cuts commercial docu-style short form video, and I can't speak for them, but I'm assuming it was a pretty intentional decision. You know what I mean?
Great segue. Yeah. A great segue into, like, I want to get into, like, so 100%, by the way, agree. What a smart decision by, I'm sure, everyone at Marvel, the director, all the team at Black Widow, Perception, and yourself. Like, that's the right call for that movie. I was fully bought in after the title sequence, and I know I'm not the only one. I've seen comments online. It's something that when you watch the movie, it's an unexpected twist that all of a sudden I went from like 50% attention to 100, 120, and sets up the whole family dynamic. It really crushed it for me. Which pains me to tell you, I really enjoyed it, by the way. No, this is not easy for me, everyone.
Pain me to hear it from you.
You've been waiting for this for years. Me to
for
tell
20
you,
years.
I love it.
Yeah,
I could not have done anything better. There were a few cuts I saw, but let's talk about you. Let's talk about how you got your start, because 100%, you and I both come from Sizzle, right? Promos. Why don't you just give us a little recap? How did you get into post? How did you get into this crazy, like, what was the start of the journey that ended up with you in the chair cutting the Widow open?
So the start of it was, I initially thought I wanted to be a VFX artist, and quickly realized during internship that I did not have the attention span to live in that world, which you could probably tell from my earlier editing was the case, because everything I cut it was super fast, which you've told me time and time again.
Slow it down.
Slow it down. Sit on a shot.
Let it breathe. Let it breathe, my friend. Let it breathe.
Yeah. So I ended up at a company, and we did broadcast promo, and that I was pretty technically, I was very good at, like, technical stuff, And so at that company, I would do, I was an assistant editor, but I'd also do a lot of system stuff. And that was more needed than more editors. So I kind of, got trapped there for a little while, and eventually had to like go freelance if I wanted to like cut the stuff I wanted to cut. So I didn't come up through this like traditional, I work at one of these edit shops that does high-end commercials, and I assist there for years, and then I assist the editors in helping them with the alternate cuts, and eventually like people know my name, and I'm all of a sudden the editor in the chair who's promoted, who's worked with all these agency folks. I came up in a world that was separate from that world, and then I jumped into advertising and started cutting a ton of sizzles. So a sizzle reel is like a sales tape. A lot of times it's to sell an advertising idea that like hasn't been created yet, or a concept. And what you're doing is you're searching the internet and scraping it for footage to tell a story that has not been shot. And I got really, really good at telling those kinds of stories. And that's one of the things that informed that changed how I pace stuff too. Because a lot of the tricks I learned was to make bad or low budget footage a lot better and elevate it for these pitches and stuff like that. Because if you're not cutting with good footage, you still want to cut something you're proud of. So you kind of you kind of dig deep and you start scraping and you learn your little tricks, and you kind of like you move forward, and just slowly by slowly I started getting better and better edits. And then I'd get more docu-style stuff, which again changed like the way I pace stuff and the way I cut stuff. And then I always had that broadcast promo background. So like slamming into a shot and being able to like do a bunch of quick cuts and learning sound design was already part of my repertoire. And then like I just kept adding and adding and adding. And the more people you work with, the more work you get. And eventually I started editing, like just like everything.
It's a great path. Like I will say that all editors are problem solvers right at their core. It's always like decision tree, like, how do I solve this problem? But especially with broadcast promo and broadcast sizzle, there's no plan to start with, right? So it's like the show doesn't exist. There's no footage. We need to cut the most amazing high energy piece possible and do it in 90 seconds where every single frame is going to count. And there's so many people that are depending upon this. Go.
Here's a PDF.
Yeah. Well, here's the internet.
Here's a PDF. Here's some titles. They're on paper, but figure it out. Like,
yep. There's a reason why, like, our friend John Anderson keeps a treasure trove of movie rips, right? Just at his beck and call to be able to like pull, oh, you need this, you need space footage, you need all of that stuff.
I have a hard drive of just commercials that I've been collecting for years.
100%.
They have metadata on them. They're organized by what kind of footage it is, so that I can slam out these things and they look really good. Like, but nothing beats having footage that's shot for you. Like,
sure. It's been great. Go ahead, Ben.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, what was that transition like? Because at some point you went from, basically making up stuff to working on stuff that was shot nicely. I mean, what was that process
Let me
like?
know when it happens, man. Here's the thing. I'll go straight from a high-end project to one of these sizzle reels, and the only difference is the fact that the stakes on that sizzle reel are higher than they used to be when I was younger. But like, right. you get paid the same to cut a sizzle reel for an ad agency as you do to cut a commercial for an ad agency. Like and honestly, a lot of times I almost think that you're worth more money to that ad agency cutting that sizzle for. It's amazing how much content gets made for a room filled with 6 people. Like,
Sure. 100%.
you know what I mean? And how much time and money is spent on just like making content for a room full of people just to decide to make some content. You know what I mean? But those are important jobs too. And the funny thing is those higher end jobs get you more of those lower end jobs, which get you more of those higher end jobs. And it's just like a cycle. So a lot of commercial editing, the big secret nobody tells you is everybody does the meal jobs and the real jobs. Like they don't talk about the meal jobs as much, but they're still doing them.
Sure. And you might not show up on your reel, right? Or it might not show up on your webpage, but I know some
of the coolest stuff I ever cut just was seen by like 2 people.
That's a necessary part of the process though, right?
Yeah.
Without those sizzle reels, Breaking Bad doesn't get made. At some point it was an early pitch, right? Like
at some point it was a bunch of stock
yeah.
Like maybe not Breaking Bad, but a lot of stuff starts out as, I haven't done one of these in a really, really long time, but like I used to do board edits, so many board edits. And those board edits were, especially for like a VFX house or something like that, would be like, that would be the editorial process. And then it would go to a VFX person and they'd mess with the timing a little bit, but that's your structure. That's the bones.
Yep.
But learning how to do all that pre-visualization, all that stuff really like prepped me for the way I cut today. And if I hadn't had all those experiences, like a lot of the ways I kind of speed stuff up and slow stuff down as far as pacing in general, I just wouldn't have the tools to do as much, especially cutting music. You wouldn't believe how many editors just don't cut music because it's just not what they do.
Yeah.
But in the commercial world, you really need to.
100%. I know, Ben, you agree with us on this, right? It's like the music is the spot. The audio is the spot. A wise man once told me, you should be cutting with no picture. Just you should be building your audio 100%, right? And then it's like the picture falls into place
how I do
at
it.
this point. Yeah.
The funniest thing is I'm also the opposite. Like for a really good, one of the reasons why I'm decent at those quick cut sequences is a lot of times if you turn that audio off, it'll still edit. Like I'm paying so much attention.
Sure.
I'm paying so much attention to eye trace and tempo and rhythm and stuff like that, that sound design is the bonus to push that through, and the picture is the bonus to sell the sound design, and they're working together, but like they should be able to stand a little bit on their own.
So how much do you rely on your internal metronome then when you're cutting stuff?
A lot. 150%.
Yeah.
It's and it's not the other secret. Maybe this is just a me thing, but the other secret they don't tell you is it doesn't get like easier. Like you start out your career and editing is hard. You're like, man, this was hard. That job's hard. You're hitting your head against a desk, like just trying to get something to work. And then you fast forward 20 years. And the footage looks nicer, but you're banging your head against the desk trying to get footage to work and being like, how did I not get better at this? And you did get better at it. You're shooting for a different target. So it's
I
just
always
one of
like to
those
think of it
things.
as like trying to do a jigsaw puzzle where you don't know what the pieces are. You don't know what the end result's going to be, but at some point, all of this stuff is going to fit together. And that's, I think when I was starting out, my jigsaw puzzles were 7 pieces long. I haven't quite, got to the 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzles yet, but that was the dream.
There's nothing scarier than an empty timeline.
100%.
Like you sit there, and it took years, and a lot of people don't realize this, but you do this long enough, and it's not your creative ideas, it's not any artistic whatever you have. It's the fact that you know the process you've done. You look at an empty edit, and you're like, I've done this 100 times. I have no idea what I'm about to do. I've looked at the footage and I still don't have an idea yet, but I'm going to throw something in the timeline and start throwing stuff together. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to create some problems and fix those problems. And you're going to have an edit, and it's going to be good because you've done it 100 times before, and you can do it because you have done it, and it needs to get done, to be honest. Like you have deadlines.
Yes.
You hit those deadlines.
Yep.
Things get done because they have to get done.
It's conquering that fear, right? Conquering that internal fear that every project, this is the one. Like, I know I tell you guys all the time, like, this is the one that ends me, right? I've had a good run, right? This Sapphire video, this is the one that crushes me.
This is the one where they realize that they should have gotten a better editor.
This one where this is one where they find out, but it's that repetition of the craft, right? It's the 10,000 hours you've put in doing this over and over and over again.
And that was just last week.
Yeah. It makes you know it's going to be okay. It's always going to come out good in the end. There's always going to be
fine. And also, we're not curing cancer.
100%.
Like I'm making a video. I don't care if it's a big video or a small video. I'm going to hit my deadlines. I'm going to do it professionally, but I'm not a doctor. I'm not what's another important job? Firefighter? I don't know. I'm not doing anything. Like, I'm making a commercial. I'll hit that deadline, but like they'll be okay. Like they'll find somebody else if I get hit by a bus. Like the company's not going to go under. You'll be fine. So I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves at the beginning of our career to do these jobs because they're life or death, and you have these advertising emergencies, and they're not emergencies. They're a time where you just take a deep breath and you just do the thing you know how to do.
Wise words.
Wise.
I want to get into a little bit. Oh,
before we get anywhere, I think it's just I just want to say hello to our new viewers. Thank you very much for joining us. You're watching Boris FX Live. We are chatting with Jake Benjamin, who is a fantastic editor. Who is jaketotheb.com. We've been talking about the sort of craft of editing, the process of editing. And obviously, one of Jake's more recent projects, which has been the open to Black Widow, and the process of getting us through there. If you do have questions, we will be getting to them as soon as we possibly can. If you're watching on YouTube, go over and type in your questions in the chat window just underneath the video. If you are watching on borisfxlive.com, the chat window is going to be to the right of your viewer. There is also a little bit of time left to enter our competition at borisfxlive.com. Scroll on down. We have a ton of prizes. We've got a year-long subscription to the Boris FX Suite and another license to Sapphire, plus 5 bits of brand new Boris FX swag. So from our merch store. So with that pitch, let's get back to the good stuff.
Tons of comments in the chat. A lot of people really enjoying this, agreeing. Shout out to Los Angeles post-production group. Professionals always be prepared. I think that's a great statement, right? As a professional, right, you're prepared for any outcome, that's what almost lets you handle anything that's thrown your way, because you are always prepared. But I want to get a little bit into the work-life balance topic, because like I think you hit on it right down with the pressure we put on ourselves, right? So I'd love to chat a little just bit about how you do balance this high pressure job you have, because there's no doubt, right? New York City commercial editing is not for the faint of heart, right? It is a high pressure gig, and I want to know how you like maintain that balance and are able to actually have a life and maintain some sort of sanity while tackling some of the big budget projects.
I mean, a lot of it comes down to communicating with my clients, and it's give or take. It's there's compromise if you're doing something like this for a living. But what's nice is, as a freelancer, you have the opportunity to say no to a job, and it's an important thing to use from time to time, because yes, there is feast or famine and you go through those periods, but if you've been freelancing long enough, at a certain point you learn that you need to start saving money, you need to start taking breaks, you need to start taking vacations, and you need to, if you've had a certain amount of gigs that are pretty high pressure, and you know who your clients are, you know what it's like to work for your clients, you know their needs and expectations. Newer clients, sometimes you don't know, and assume it's going to be rough, because if they're bringing on a new freelancer, that means all the freelancers they know are unavailable, or there's an emergency, which means you're in a position to become their hero, like you're in a very good position to earn work, because they really need help. And if you're not a jerk and you're helpful and you're nice to work with, then you'll earn a client that will be a repeat client. And almost all of my clients have been repeat clients. Like it's a given, and it's not because of talent. Like it's about client services and treating your clients professionally, and running your freelance operation like a business. But like, one of the things that's always worked for me is like, I'm very honest with my clients about my time. If I do have a day that I need to get it hard out, I communicate that ahead of time. If I have too many rough gigs in a row, I don't take a rough gig. I'll hold out for a softball. And if I take a vacation, I give myself the pep talk before I sign up for the vacation that I'm about to get offered something really big, because that happens every time you take a vacation.
That's right.
100%.
That is the golden rule, isn't it?
Yep.
It's rough. Every single time something really big, every single time you go away, you'll lose something really big, which is fine, because you have to understand your career is going to be pretty long and you're going to get another opportunity. Unless you're awful. As a person.
Unless you're awful to work with.
Yeah, awful to work with. Yeah.
Just awful to work with. Like, if you're a pleasant person to work with, you do your job, you are organized, then you're organized, you're good to work with, you'll get work. And then it's climbing from there, like which direction you go, and that all will come down to what you're good at and who you're working with, and so much of it is luck. Like you'll get work, but the good work is luck. I've encountered so many talented editors who they have trouble scoring some of the large gigs, and it's because it's an industry where there's so much money behind stuff that people aren't comfortable hiring somebody unless they've done this totally original idea before. And so
yes, that's true.
And
right?
so they want to go with the safe bet. And honestly, you can get insulted by that, or you can look at it from their perspective and be like, I can't blame them. But then you need to step up when you get the opportunity. And unfortunately, sometimes that means some long hours here and there. But the other thing is like, you do need to set those boundaries. And a lot of times when you are doing the extra work, you need to make sure like you can compromise and throw a couple extra hours here and there for a good client. But like, you need to be charging for that stuff. You shouldn't be giving a ton of work away for free. Like, those are lessons you learn earlier in your career, that those compromises you end up making actually end up being the clients that aren't going to get your reel forward a lot of the time. They're not connections that really help you. They end up, it ends up feeding off of you for a little bit for just cheap labor. And those are the most demanding clients. My higher end clients are not the most demanding clients that I've ever had. They're all sweethearts. Like, that's the funniest thing. Like,
but I think is that also a case of expectations and knowledge of what they want up front? Because I always find that some of the more inexperienced clients look to you for your expertise, but they don't know what they want. So when you bring them something, it might not be this imaginary thing they didn't know they wanted or didn't know they didn't want. So they want something different. They can't communicate what they want, but it's that. So whereas the more experienced people on the other end, they know a bit more about what they're actually expecting, what they want.
I think that's one of the reasons why you end up putting so many hours earlier in your career too, is it's not the editing skills that I've become a better editor over the years, but honestly, I've become a way better communicator over the years. So like dealing with clients and listening to their feedback and understanding that their feedback, like, just because they're like, I don't know, I want you to remove the shot and replace it with the shot of an apple or some random thing. And you're like, you have to be able to look at that feedback and you're like, the shot's bugging them because of these 5 shots before that shot. Mm. And you go to a doctor and you're like, my arm hurts. And really that arm pain is being caused by a muscle in your shoulder. It's that issue within the course of like an edit. And so like the key to becoming better at editing in a commercial world is being able to listen and communicate with your clients and understand what they're saying, even if they don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're dealing with clients who come from all different skill levels. Like they fully know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're talking about. They're better than you and know what they're talking about more than you. And you need to diagnose it. Like it's, and I think that's the real secret, is just like being a partner to your clients as opposed to working for your clients.
100%. And that's why they're coming back, right? Because they want to work with you as a partner. And that's something, honestly, I've seen you grow. You know, when we first worked together, I would not have put listening as your greatest attribute, right? You were always one of exactly. You were always one of the smartest guys, always one of the smartest guys in the room, and had no problem letting me know on a consistent basis. But no, that is like, you don't get to the level you're at without respecting and listening to the other half, you know? And first of all, the chat, by the way, is going off. We have some great comments, great questions.
Yeah.
I got a shout out to Sam, who corrects me. And Sam, I will use this from now on. It's best to start with calling it life-work balance. Words do matter, right? And like I do fall into that same crutch of work life. It really is about life work. And I got a question for you. How about this one? Here's a good one. What do you wish you knew at the beginning of your career that you know now? And like, what's the single best piece of advice you would give yourself back then?
Maybe chill out and don't be in such a hurry. Like, it was a long, Brian knows this. It was a long path for me to become an editor. And I was an assistant for 5 years, which was a pretty long time. And then once I was editing professionally, I wanted to be cutting cool stuff right away. And honestly, I look back at all the just kind of the for the meal jobs that I did and think about the things that I learned on those jobs, and the fact that I had the chance to mess up and to learn some techniques. And honestly, even the assistant time was great because Brian was one of the people I actually learned, I learned how to edit from, along with these 3 other editors we used to work with. And they really set the foundation of how I cut today and how I work. And then the other thing is like getting to work for and with other editors. You not only decide the editor you want to be, you kind of decide the editor you don't want to be. You decide, you look at how they deal with clients, how they deal with revisions, what bothers them, what doesn't bother them, and you decide, do I want to handle stuff this way? And my answer a lot of times is no. Revisions are tough for anybody. You get your revisions, you look at them, your gut instinct, the pit drops in your stomach, and you're like, ugh. But then, like, the best edits I have come from revisions because it's not my initial instinct. It's somebody sat there and said, do this thing that doesn't make sense in my head. And I go, well, I can't do this thing. I say it in my head. I try not to say it to my client. But like, I'm like, but maybe if I do this thing, and this thing, I'll get to this thing. And all of a sudden, the edit will be less expected. It will be a little more creative. It will be more abstract. I've gotten more and more abstract while still telling a story the farther I get in my editing career. But like, it gets pushed even further. Like, you can get to making those points without like making those points and still having it communicate well. And like, a lot of that gets there through group thought because you're a member of a team. You're always a member of a team, even if you're cutting by yourself. And it's a nice thing not to forget because those people aren't ruining your vision. They're helping you find a vision.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool to make something that you don't think will work just awesome. And it forces you to be even more creative and stretch your legs and not take the easy way out. I actually, I don't know if Brian knew this or not, but I used to keep a Post-it note on my computer monitor that just said, don't be lazy. And all it was to say, don't take the easy way out. If you get an idea that is more difficult to execute or might take a little more time, or is the right solution, but there's an easier solution, don't take that easy route. Like, do the thing. You're being paid to do the thing. Your job's pretty good. You make little movies for a living. Like, it's not that bad. And those realizations are the things that kind of help me out over the years and kind of get me excited. I still get a little excited, not at the beginning of the project, maybe a little at the beginning of the project, but mostly like as I'm wrapping up a project, I get little battery recharges, because we've all worked on hard projects that get draining, like, and you're just in that zone where you're just like, man, I just want to sleep, like. Yes. But then you see a final product and you actually get an edit eventually that you're proud of. Not every edit's like that, but like the ones that are, you're just like, man, I did that. So I don't know. It's kind of cool.
I mean, time also helps, I think, in many ways, but I think getting a distance from some of those projects that you thought would never work and were particularly draining, whether it's because of the project itself or the client you're working with, just getting it over, getting it done, getting it into the goal, having a bit of distance and then coming back and watching it later can actually be really, really rewarding, because you can forget the pain and you're just left with this product at the end of it, which you can be proud of. And people can see that. You forget the other 20, 30, 40, 100 versions that you did. True. Like, because it's easy to forget as an editor too, that you're watching something that you've been watching for a week, 2 weeks, a month. You know what I mean? Like you're watching the same thing over again, so it loses its impact. It's why comedy editing is like so hard, because you lose that initial perspective. So like, I've definitely watched stuff years later and been like, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was. That said, I've been doing this a long time, and I'm only just starting to like my editing. So I think a lot of editors can identify with that, or artists in general. And I think on that note, we're unfortunately going to have to wrap things up a little bit. Jake, it's been wonderful. We could really talk to you for hours and end, but I know you're a working editor. You've got stuff to do.
Your hard out at 2:45 has gone past.
I'm actually on a job right now. Yeah.
Well,
yeah. So
no, everyone knows. I mean, like, we could talk forever. We could make this 3 hours. Super interesting guy. You're super interesting path to where you've gotten. And I'm definitely proud of you for achieving that Black Widow edit. That's amazing. But I have to remind people, like, of your roots as to where you came from and your humble beginnings as an editor. Here's a project we worked on together, which, by the way, is a stunning use of Sapphire. Yes, it is Bridezilla's, ladies and gentlemen.
Brian, you're an awful man.
Oh, you thought I wasn't going to show this, right? Look at that. That is S Sparkles, ladies and gentlemen, right? Maybe the worst use of Sparkles I've ever seen. There is Sapphire. Look at those S rays in there too.
That was rays there.
This is an amazing edit, Jake. This is fantastic.
There's a bad edit in it too.
I love it.
Where there's like a zoom out and I cut into it and it kills me to this day. But it's in the bottom of my website because it still makes me laugh that it's such a stupid edit.
Was that a lens flare transition? I think it was.
Dude.
I think it was. All right, enough of that.
I think this was that was the first thing I ever cut.
I like to show the progression from that to that amazing edit for Widow. So everyone out there who's working on those projects knows there is a light at the end of the tunnel. If you made it from that use of S Sparkles, right? Like that is fantastic.
Awesome.
Great.
Thank you so much, Jake. JakeToTheB.com.
Thank you.
Check out his website. Thank you, Jake. Appreciate the insight. A lot of love on the chat. And a lot of people really enjoying the advice you're giving out. So thanks so much. Come back and see us again sometime. You are welcome anytime.
Later, guys.
All right.
Cheers, Jake. Bye now. All right. Well, let's change up the pace a little bit. If you're just joining us, you've been welcome to Boris FX Live. You've been watching an interview with Jake Benjamin there. We're going to be changing things up in a little bit. Brian and I are going to start talking about 5 Sapphire effects, in fact, that you can't do without if you are editing in Premiere Pro. But before we get to that, let's do some business, shall we? We are live, so if you have questions about what you've seen or questions about what you're going to see in a little bit, please ask them. We will be answering as many questions live as we possibly can. You also have a little bit of time left, still a little bit of time left to join in the competition. If you head on over to borisfxlive.com, scroll down to the bottom of the website, you will find a lovely little competition box where you can type in your email and details and join in the competition there to win some of our big prizes today. Full terms and conditions on the website. But I think we should probably give away something. Do you know what I mean? I'm in a giving mood now.
100%.
I think I actually just need a little bit of time to sort of calm down and change the pace up.
I haven't even showed. Hold on one second. I'm going to go to you full, Ben.
Okay.
And I forgot. As everyone can tell,
I don't know what I'm meant to be doing when I'm vamping.
It's okay, just vamp. As everyone knows, I'm in love with Jake. But I forgot to show. Look at this, right?
Hey.
This is some of the new stuff we have on the Boris FX store. And let's give away some Boris FX swag, right? We've
got merch.
Let's give away the 5 winners who are going to get their choice of anything in the Boris FX store. We are also giving away a 12-month subscription to the Boris FX Suite, right? Which is everything we own. Everything we own. everything we make.
Oh my God.
We don't own anything, right? So Continuum, Sapphire, Mocha, Silhouette, and Optics, 12 months multi-host license. I believe $12.95 value. And we're going to give away a 12-month subscription to Sapphire multi-host. That is an $8.95 value. But right now, let's give away 5 winners who get their pick of anything in the Boris FX store. We will buy this for you, and we will ship it to you. So, drum roll, please, Ben, and I'm going to let you...
How the sausage is made. Here we go.
I'm going to let you do it.
Cold reading of good names. Here we go. It's my favourite bit. Congratulations to Andrea Stewart. You have won a piece of Boris FX swag. So, if we'll be in contact with you, and you can get your choice of swag, as can George Green. Congratulations to you, George. If you're in the chat, say hello. You also have won a piece of swag. Our 3rd winner is going to be, oh my God, look at that transition, is MJ Siebert. MJ, well done. A little bit of Boris FX swag coming over to you. I know people are saying 5 winners. How can this possibly be? We're at number 4 now. Doug Alexander, you also have won a piece of swag. We have T-shirts, we have hoodies, we have ladies' sweatshirts, we have mugs, we have a bum bag, also known as a fanny pack in the US. And, oh, sorry, I missed our final lucky winner, Doug Alexander. Sorry, I was getting in a... sorry, Elsie. I didn't even get to Elsie.
Poor Doug.
Oh, it's Doug. Well done, Doug. Well done, Doug, and well done, Elsie. Congratulations to all of our winners of the Boris FX swag. You asked for it. We said, yes, we can do it. We have got you the T-shirts that you were so desperately clamoring for. Well done, all of our winners. There is still time, of course, to get our other prizes. borisfxlive.com. Scroll down. Enter now. Enter now. Time is running out. All right.
Let's do it. Let's
Should we
talk
move
Sapphire
on?
and Premiere. Yeah, super
Sapphire
exciting.
and Premiere.
Yeah, let's do it.
Something interesting has happened with Premiere recently. Can you tell me what it is? Something's happening on Premiere on Mac. I can't quite remember what it is.
What is happening? Okay, so Apple M1 processors. This is fun stuff. Apple has created their brand new own processors called Apple M1. You also hear them referred to as Apple Silicon. They are ARM processors. They are beautiful new technology. Use less amount of heat, longer battery life, faster speeds. These are brand new machines that are out right now. With the new technology, as a software developer, you have to basically rewrite your software to run natively on an M1 processor. I like to think there's three possible ways as a software developer that you can work with M1s. Let me turn off my audio here. So you can just not support it at all, right? which is like your software just won't run. That's definitely one scenario. I'm proud to say that none of the Boris FX family falls into that category. Number two, you can run via emulation software, which is called Rosetta 2, right? So you can rewrite your software to run via emulation, and that's not like the perfect goal, but that's definitely like step one along to the third goal, which is running natively on an Apple M1 processor. So, you can not support them, you can run via Rosetta, or you can run natively. Run natively is the goal. This is what's going to take full advantage of the new Apple technology. It's also going to, as a plugin developer, is a real asset, because if you do run via an emulation software, you're going to have to run your host application via emulation as well. So if you're running via emulation as a Premiere plugin, you're going to have to run Premiere as well via emulation. And this is definitely not desirable. Everyone wants to take advantage of that brand new tech they bought and work at the fastest speeds possible. Super exciting. Adobe just announced, when it was like 2 weeks ago, right? Or 2 or 3 weeks ago, that Premiere, the public release, now runs natively on the M1 processors. And we're happy to say that Sapphire also runs natively on an M1 processor. So if you do have one of the new Mac Minis, which Ben is lucky enough to have and will be demoing on today, one of the new 13-inch MacBooks, or one of the new iMacs, or one of the plethora of new Apple hardware that is coming down the pike, a lot of really fun stuff that Apple's going to come out with later this year. The combination of Premiere and Sapphire, both running natively on the M1 process, is buttery smooth and really fantastic. So super happy that Sapphire is ready for M1 and ready to go kind of from the whistle. So that's my kind of spiel on M1. And so I thought what we could do today, Ben, right, is we could check out Sapphire running natively on the M1, and you could walk through your top 5 favorite Sapphire effects that every Premiere editor should know. And I shouldn't say, it is not, as you informed me today, it is not a prioritized order. It is just your top 5, which I support.
It's my top 5. It's not a countdown. We're not going number 5, but I am actually going to go number 1. So there's a slight difference, but it is actually a very important difference. I'm going to go share my screen. This is also the first time I've been doing any of these live streams on a Mac, so this is exciting to me.
Nothing could go wrong. Nothing could
terrifying, go wrong. Absolutely terrifying to me.
Yes.
Right, I think I'm here.
I think you've done it.
I think I've done it. Right.
I think you've done it.
Right. Well, let's start off. These are my 5 essentials that people cannot live without. And starting in hot out of the chute. I don't know what the phrase is going to be. Number 1 is transitions, of course, because of course transitions are an essential part of the grammar of editing. And without coming in and understanding transitions, you're going to be limiting yourself quite a lot with what you're going to be able to do. And especially if you're working in fast-paced stuff, things like promos, ads, music videos, where you have to move through different places very quickly and with a certain amount of style, the right transition is going to make or break what you're actually trying to do. So Sapphire has a ton of different transitions. I actually was meant to go full screen like that, but maybe we've gone full screen.
Yeah.
Man, this is why Brian is the best. So the right transition is never too far away with Sapphire. So let's start off over here. Actually, let's come in. I'm just going to play this back. This is just the a very, very straightforward little edit. Not done anything too crazy here. So it's just coming in. We've got a push in here, which we cut back out from, cutting over here, doing the same thing. So this actually cuts together all right. But if I wanted to add a bit more zhuzh, which is the technical term for what we're doing, we're going to come in and we're going to use some transitions. So if I take a look at my Sapphire transitions over here, I've obviously cheated by saying that my number one effect that everyone should be using is transitions, because transitions isn't an effect; it's tons of effects. But I don't care about cheating. I think that's fine. I'm going to actually start with something in the dissolve category. Basically, the transitions are into three different groups. We've got types of dissolves, we've got types of wipes, and we've got types of miscellanea. That's basically everything else that doesn't pop into to dissolves or wipes. So I'm going to choose a dissolve. I'm going to use a dissolve shake. Just drag it over the top. I'll double click just to make it shorter. I think these generally work a little bit shorter. 8 frames. Whoosh. There we go. Default settings. Move along. There we go. I think that's all very nice. If I did want to change all this up, we've got all of our controls that we have available to us over here. In fact, I'll just copy and paste that transition over onto the next one, because I'll show us how to do a little bit more with this transition over on this shot, I think. So we're going to see this actually quite a lot over the next half an hour, 45 minutes. And that's the preset browser. I always say that if you are applying a filter for the first time, always take a look at the presets. I mean, these are designed not just to give you a good starting point for, trying to get your footage where it's going to, but they're actually designed to show you what the filter can do. So most of the time, they're giving you a wide variety of types of effects. Actually, I have that film strip dip. There we go. That's looking pretty good to me. So I'll load that in. There we go. And whoosh. So if I take a little look over on Shake, we're not going to go through all of this. We've got far too much to go through for me to muck about too much with parameters. But I just want to show you a couple of things we can do. We can change up like color separation. So we can do, channel separation. So we can do the RGB channels slightly differently. And this gets us, whoosh, that nice little channel separation there, which I love quite a lot. And if you want to go even more abstract and use Shake not to just kind of give us a recognizable transition between two different clips, one of the little things that I like to do with this is actually just come over to the motion blur length, and just crank that up a ton. And then depending on what the rest of the shake is doing, this is probably going to just look a little bit weird there because we're only shaking in the Y, but it just gives us this big sort of directional blur. And this can look really nice when you've got a bit more shaking going on. It just gives you some nice colors that, make you feel as if you're still part of the edit, but kind of, you know, you're in the world of the edit, but you're not kind of cutting between stuff that's recognizable. But I think probably if I was forced to choose one effect or one filter now that isn't a cut or dissolve, I'm going to actually choose. I'm going to cheat again, actually, and choose two effects, which are they're fairly new effects. They're hyper pull and hyper push. So what these are going to be doing is that it's going to be moving us through from scene to scene in a bit more of a dynamic way. So if we take a look at this cut, we've got it's about a whole bunch of people doing their outdoorsy pastimes, or not even outdoorsy pastimes, doing their fun life work balance stuff. Emphasis on the life, obviously. And this is one of the places where I'm always looking for a type of transition that is going to get me from location A to location B. So whereas a cut would often do it, if I want to build on a sense of movement and sort of a dynamic movement, I'm going to use something like hyper. I'll use hyper pull actually to begin with. Let's see what that looks like at default values. Whoosh. It just pulls us out in a nice sort of way there from one place to the next. And like all of these effects, what do I will say? If you want to know what a preset is, or want to know what a filter is doing, you find the preset. And this, you know, these go for all of our transitions, not just you know, the ones like shake or dissolve. You know, all of these are designed with a purpose there. So hey ya, shake it.
I gotta jump in. I will say, such joy seeing how fast that preset browser opens up. Right, that's one of the big advantages. Nice, one of the big advantages of the M1s. They are so snappy. They are so interactive, and there's certain things that you didn't even kind of knew took long because you just accepted it, right? And then all of a sudden you jump on one, and it's like boop boop boop, and it's like, oh my god, it really is fantastic. I love to see that.
This is nice. This is nice. Yeah, if you're currently using Sapphire, it's all of this stuff is actually just so nice and snappy. It's lovely. It's really lovely. I've forgotten what I'm doing. I'm hyper pulling, aren't I? I'm pulling. There we go. So we've got something like that. I will actually come over to hyper push, and we'll explore with that one a little bit more. But hyper push is like the sister effect to hyper pull. Instead of coming out, we're pushing inwards with the same sort of thing, and it's you can tell it's the same type of thing. If we look at the presets again, brunk. Oh, look at this. We've got similar sorts of presets, including same preset names. Were you getting a bit kind of losing inspiration for preset names at this point?
A lot of preset names to come up with, Ben. All right, so don't blame me if I name them after Outkast songs. All right, so come on.
Okay, I'm going to start with nice and clean, because as you say in your description, it's a good place for experimentation. There we go. So with this one, I actually kind of like the movement that we're getting from the shot before, which is the dancer. And one of the ways that we can start to play around with that movement is changing all of the sort of the center point from where it actually comes from. So actually, if I bring this up, I'll set the center to and from to be the same place. So basically, over in this side over here. I think that's probably the safest place to do it. And we can sort of see we're adding in a little bit of a push into that as well. So like really, really quickly, we can start to kind of continue the movement of the, of the actual shot and make the transition work and dance with the movement, which I think is really, really important. And we have things like warp chroma and all of this. There's so much stuff to explore that I'm definitely going to stop exploring it in about 3 seconds, because otherwise I'm going to get lost in the sauce. And the dog also says that I should stop exploring stuff.
Fun.
So he does, and I actually don't blame him, because I could carry on talking about transitions all the time, but we can't, because this is just number one. We've still got 4 more to go. Are there any questions so far? I mean, transitions. It's big. It's important.
No transitions. I'm sorry, no transitions. No
transitions. No questions.
Just my dog going nuts in the background.
Well, he's a dog of good taste. Okay, number 2. Let's come in. Da, 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 da. My pick number 2 that every editor should be using is Film Effect. Now, Film Effect is one of those effects that you really want to see to sort of figure out what it is in fact doing. Let's come over here, and I will just expand out my edge here. And this is the edit I've got. My keyboard shortcuts are different. There we go. This is the edit that I've got so far. It's just 3 shots. Astronauts exploring the red planet. Could the planet be a little bit redder? Yeah, probably. But maybe that's something we can do in the color correction phase. So what we've got here is we've got 3 shots that are all balanced together, and this is an important stage, because when we're using Film Effect, or the way that I use Film Effect anyway, this is not a prescription. This is just, obviously me and how I like it. Let's go S Film Effect, and we've got Film Damage, we've got Film Effect. I like to use Film Effect as a flavoring to my edits. It's one of the last things that I will put on. In fact, it's usually the last filter that I'll put on, and it's kind of heavy. The defaults are always mixed a little bit heavy, just so you can see what it's doing. And it's broken into 3 main sections. It's broken into the color correction bit up at the very top. We've got the glow bits in here, and then we have the finishing, so the grain and the vignette afterwards. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to start off in the preset browser, because that's what we're going to do, because this is always a good place to sort of see and get inspiration, or just find a good kind of starting point for where you want to go. If someone's taken the time to get you off the starting blocks, why would you start at the very beginning each time? So these are all very different kind of effects. I'm not seeing one that's exactly where I need it to go right now. But this is, here we go. Fashionista contrast. There we go. It's very red. That's the thing that draws me over to this one. It's very red. Some may say too red. So all of this color correction can be controlled with one parameter, which is the scale CC. And this is something that I will use every single time. I don't think there's ever been a time where I will run this at either 1 or above 1. I will always scale this back, because at this stage, the way that I'm using this, I'm using it for flavor. So we're coming in and we're just sort of dropping a bit of flavor in here. So you can see that I've taken this down to 0.25, 256. Doesn't really matter. So I've sort of just pulled it back a lot, and often I'll have that only about 0.1. So we're just getting a hint of what's going on. we can still come in. We can change like the film stocks that we're working on. This has an influence on the gamma curve and also the type of grain that we're getting. And speaking of grain, I can come down to the bottom. I can take the grain all the way off. Let's zoom in here so we can actually see the grain, because grain is something that really doesn't translate amazingly well in live streams unless I go a little bit extreme, just because of the amount of compression that goes all the way through. But on my screen, if I take that down to about 0.5, that's still, quite heavy grain. And depending on what I'm going for, this is another one. I'll probably take it down to about 0.2, 0.3. Just want to get a hint of it rather than knock people over the head with it. And we're playing back real time. Everyone's happy. Look at that. Do the little dance. So that film effect. Got my vignettes. Loads of parameters that we can still be working with here. Is this it though? Is this all I've got? The answer is no, because we're going to go to number 3 already. It's like, Ben, why are you going to number 3 already? Well, here's why. Number 3 of my essential filters that all Premiere Pro editors should be using is Builder, also known as S-Effect. And S-Effect, again, this is another huge cheat from me, because actually S-Effect is a way of combining all of the Sapphire filters together into one handy dandy filter, and we can create our own custom effects and expose different effects in the interface. So this is a really nice way to create a sort of big custom preset that actually goes beyond a preset, because you're not just dealing with one plugin with one set of parameters. You're dealing with all of the Sapphire plugins and all of the parameters that they have. So this is huge, not just for stuff that we're gonna see with color treatments, but also for motion backgrounds, for overlays that we have here. All of this stuff we can create up in Builder. So why do I put this after film effect? Well, here's why. I've got this is the very short section that I'm working on. It's 2 clips. Again, color corrected so that everything's nicely balanced up, and I just want to add in my little flavor. It's at this stage I would usually use film effect, but now I'm going to come in and I'm going to look for S-Effect in Sapphire Builder, bring that over the top. Again, as an adjustment layer so I can put it over the top of everything. Come into our presets. The Builder presets are a little bit different. I'm going to preview on a sample here so we can sort of see what this is doing. So there's not just one type of preset here. There's lots of ones that are looking for stylistic things, or we look at dust or alien cellular. There's stuff that's looking for motion backgrounds. We're going to come back to that in a second. I'm going to search in my presets. Search for the word quick. A little hint here is also search for the word fast. There's some good ones under fast and under quick. Fast sky enhancer. You've got a bit of a boring sky. This is a nice way to zhuzh up your skies. We don't have a boring sky. We're in a car park. So I'm going to go with my quick film finish instead. This is one that I've made. It ships with Sapphire 2021 and above, and this is one that I've made. And whenever I make a preset, I always over describe it in the description, because I think it's really important that people should know what it is they're getting into.
That's not a knock on anyone else, Brian.
I feel that was
Please
a
don't
dig.
take it as such.
I feel that was a dig.
If you feel personally attacked, look inwards.
That was a dig.
Have you looked inwards? It was a dig. Yeah. Yeah.
We have over 3,000 presets, everyone. Let's just say when Ben writes 5 of them and gets to put a lot of effort in, it's fine.
Easy, Tiger. Easy.
This is one of my favorite builder effects, though. I will say I use this a ton. This is a great little quick color grade. And everybody, like, if you have Sapphire, 100%, just enjoy looking in SFX presets. There's some gold in there. I tell people all the time, there's 150 new Sapphire effects you've never touched sitting in SFX presets, and this is one of them.
Yep. Is that absolutely right? And this is the stuff that if you never want to see this, if you never want to touch this, it's absolutely fine. Like, all of the presets are set up so most times you won't have to see this stuff at all. But these are all the effects that have gone into creating this one SFX preset. So I'm going to cancel out of here. So even though we've got all of those effects, I can't remember how many effects there was, like 10 different effects. We don't have to deal with 10 effects worth of parameters, and this is why Builder ranks so highly for me, is that I can get rid of tons of clutter. So like the Sapphire filters are actually designed so that the important stuff is usually at the top. So most of the time, you're not going to go halfway down the parameter list anyway. But this lets me sort of really dive down and say, actually, the important bits for this are maybe just one slider to control sharpening if I need any sharpness. Let's take that really, really sharp. That's overly sharp, even. So yeah, one slider that controls a bit of sharpening. I'm going to take that back down to 0. And one slider that controls my scale CC. So this is the one that we just saw in Film Effect. It's Film Effect. So I can slide that down and take that off to 0, so we're not getting any of the film effect at all. Or I can just take it up until I find that sweet point in my footage. And I think that's probably around about there. And it's things, if I need to make it brighter, if I need to make it darker, we have that just as one single. That's probably gone too far again. Let's open that up. Yeah, we have that as one single effect. So basically, I've simmered down all of the stuff that I like into just a few little parameters, plus bringing in things like Afterglow and Glow Darks all in one little effect. So we've got all the interesting stuff with Film Effect. I'm going to just drop my proxy down a second there. So we've got all of the interesting stuff with Film Effect and with Afterglow and with Glow Darks and a clever little bit of sharpening as well, all in one handy dandy little filter.
Love it. So cool, Ben.
And if you want to make any changes to it, you can still do that. You can even like come in and add in more of these parameters as well.
Love to say that like, Builder, right? What's so cool about it is, so you build that effect, right? And some of these SFX, I literally love to say it's like looking in an editor's kind of special bag of tricks. Like, you built that for yourself. It gets thrown into SFX. Everybody gets to use it, and you've chosen what parameters to promote back to Premiere. Yep. But like, let's be honest with you. When I steal this effect, which I do all the time, like I don't use half those, right? So you can turn off and turn on. It really is like, I like to say it's like one effect to rule them all, because it's completely modular. Anything you can turn on and turn off. I use it a ton. Sometimes on just a single effect, right? I'll throw Afterglow in there and just rip it down to my 4 favorite parameters that I use because I'm very basic, you know, but like that's the real power of it. And to be able to see kind of inside a crazy person's mind, to see like what you're creating in there, what John's creating in there, what a bunch of outside editors and artists, like friends of Boris FX, you know, create and share with us that we get to put in is pretty crazy. Some of the things people create and build are nuts. I mean, good Lord, the stuff Alan does, right? It's like complete procedural effects. It's just like,
hang on
what?
a second.
Yeah. Like,
no,
good Lord.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm going to find one of Alan's ones, because Alan's created a ton of the motion background ones in Builder. Let's come and have a look at this. So this is something that I always used to struggle with when I was doing a lot of fast turnaround edits, which is I would have to have some kind of motiony background stuff to put text on, but at that time the amount of stock footage that we had was very limited. So basically you were putting on the same basic bit of stock footage every single time, and maybe sticking a blur on it. You know, that was pretty much as far as it went. But with Builder, you've actually got some really nice kind of just motion background stuff right from the get-go. So if I can come in, I can filter these as well, and filter these just by adding in background, and then I'll find something that I like, which is loads of these actually, but I want to find something that I know I can fiddle about with quite a lot, which is there we go, that's the one I was looking for, swirl dots. So we've got that in there, and this is you know, playing back, but this is still a live effect. You know, we've got these parameters that have been exposed to it, so if I want to just change the color, all I have to do is go one there, maybe I want to change the color over here as well, pump that down over there, and all of a sudden I've got something that is actually, maybe let's take off the neon pink, it doesn't really matter too much, but I've got something that's much more in keeping with the palette that I was looking for. If you really want to, you know, dive into the depths, you know, this is what all of this effect is built off of, which is great. And you've got only the bits that are going to be interesting to change over here. So if we want fewer dots, we come into our lights, we'll say, oh, give me fewer dots. I don't need as many. There we go. Don't need it as busy. And that's what we got. And it's really cool. It's really flexible, and that is why Builder has to be explored. It has to be, you know, definitely ranks in my top 5, if not in my top 2, because it's a cheat.
Totally agreed. It's the best cheat, and I tell people all the time, like, it's one of the best ways to learn Sapphire, right? Because you can get inside and see, like, so what Alan used to create those swirls is an effect called Boca Lights, which is made to produce beautiful rack defocused lights, you know, nothing of the swirl, but how he's achieving that effect to get into that setup and walk through it and kind of see, to me, like, I know I've said this before, but I've always been like one who loves to like rip stuff apart and versus starting from a blank slate. So that's really cool, even for me to see things, right? And just to be like what's going on here? Like, how is he creating this? That is super fun. And like, what I really love about it is when I see an effect like that, and I'll guess in my head like what he's using, but then I'm completely wrong, right? I'm completely wrong, absolutely wrong. Like, would never have thought. That's it. Like, I would have said, oh, there's a warp in there, and you know, something else, and then to see, he's taking Boca Lights and totally distorting it, and then, you know, how to get that color grade. But you don't really have to know that stuff. You can just, like you did, right? Just look on the parameters, find light. So yeah, S effect is extremely powerful, and something everybody should check out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. It's an editor's gift, because it does the things that you need. It's fast to find the stuff that you want, and it's completely customizable. So you're not sort of locked in like you are with finding stock footage. Because with stock footage, even for motion backgrounds, you've got to hunt through a ton, discard even more than you would ever need, just to find that one bit that actually fits in with what you're going for. Here you can just customize stuff up so it actually fits in the project and it's unique.
And everything is procedural too, right? So like, there's no limit on the size. You create anything you want. I've seen people create a 32K still, right? Like with Sapphire that they just want to use in Photoshop, which is complete madness. But that's the cool part. There's no cheating behind it. It's all math. It's whatever your comp size is. SFX is gonna build at that. Now, I will say if you do want to jump into AE and max it out with a 32K still, like, better make sure you have a beefy GPU, right? to handle that. You'll be waiting quite a long time. But it is cool that there is no cheating in it. Like any of the textures are procedural, grunge, all of this cool stuff is really all cool algorithms at its base. So it's gonna grow or shrink to whatever size you want without any loss of resolution.
I think I've got two more.
I got a video to show. Oh, this is my favorite coming up. All right.
Oh, here we go. Hang on a second. Now I've got to figure out how to share back again. Hang on. Here we go.
All right. Well, while I play, you can share.
There we go. Right.
I'm full.
I figured it. Right. Here we go. Number 4, Afterglow. All right. This is obviously has to be up there because glows are the essential effect for me. And Afterglow has a big part of my heart in it. I love Afterglow not just for the glowing stuff, the big glowy stuff on text, but actually because of the ways that it creates the sort of soft glows on video. This is really has always been my focus, especially when creating up some of the presets that we're going to be having a look at. My focus has always been on making sure that it looks good on stuff with an alpha channel, but also stuff without an alpha channel. And we've got our friends there again. And it's got some, very unique, one cannot have gradations of unique, Ben. It's got some unique features that actually push it beyond, a normal glow. So let's take a look. Let's take a look and see how this is going to work. All right. I'm going to take my first shot. It's mainly, this one is just to show you how Afterglow is doing stuff. So this is Afterglow, and when you put it on, we can see it's doing something. That's the default settings are actually set up. So not only is it doing something, it's doing something that's kind of nice. And I say that when you put on the default settings, you usually just have to change 2 parameters. We're going to change the threshold. So this is what bits are going to be glowing up. So the lower the threshold, the more stuff is going to be glowy. And the other one to choose is the brightness. So how bright do you want your glow to be? And that's, essentially with a lot of the stuff, if you don't want to get too deep into it, those are the two parameters for you to change up. Threshold, show what's glowing. Brightness, how much is it glowing? But it goes obviously a lot deeper than that. Guess where I'm going to go? Yep, presets. Got to be presets. Now, like I said, some of these are designed mainly for working on text. So things like boiling glow, this is going to look weird on video. Chrome edge, again, just looks a bit strange. But when we get to things like, full reset is just really S-glow, which is the sort of the place where Afterglow evolved out of, everyone's favorite glow effect up until Afterglow. When we get past here, we've actually got like a lot of different presets that are set up for working on footage. If we're going to go with, if you can't find a preset, if the default's not working and you can't find a preset that does exactly what you're after, I will always choose Panther as my second choice, because this is, it does this. What am I trying to say? It's like my alternate default, basically, and it does the same sort of thing. So we're just, you know, coming in, we're bringing up the threshold and the brightness, but I can also have a look at glow width, or the secret source of Ultra Glow, which is the Afterglow. So this really is what starts to create up these gorgeous, you know, natural looking glows. So let's actually bring this onto a bit of footage here. This is one of the ways that when I was doing a lot of TV ads, this is what I would often use glow for, which wouldn't be kind of like big metallic-y things. That wasn't the kind of work that I would do. It would be to kind of add a diffusion over a clip. And this is where Ultra Glow really comes into its own. If I put on the default settings, it's really bright, it's really white. Okay, what we're going to do? Well, we're going to do exactly what I said. We're going to play around with the threshold until we're finding where it is covering the bits that I want. It's around about here. And then we're going to play with the brightness. We'll just take that brightness down just a little bit. And that, let's just do the before and after on that. Before, after, it's just here to kind of help to, you know, blow the background out a little bit. And I've probably blown out a little bit too much. So, I don't know, let's come into our Afterglow. Crank up the Afterglow to make that even wider, even softer. And then crank the brightness down, just so it's sneaking around the head. So we've got a bit of diffusion coming in, but it's that natural diffusion. It just makes things look like nicer, more expensive. And it also has the, you know, the fortunate side effect of just softening out lots of shadows in skin and things as well, if you start to tweak things up nicely. So Ultra Glow doesn't have to be like big glowy stuff for text. We can just start using it to diffuse stuff out and just make that look just nicer. If you want to, I won't spend too much more time on this. I'm actually just going to copy and paste something that I have already done. If you want to, on this one, I've just used Ultra Glow to kind of push the light so it's wrapping around him a bit more. I'm not 100% sold on what that's doing, so I've got things like glow bias. So we can be pushing the glow bias up a little bit and the glow fall off as well. And then come in with the brightness. So there's so much you can tweak on this. But really, like the starting point for, I'm just going to mute myself 1 second before I cough in everyone's faces.
Love
now I realise that I love Ultra Glow as well. I've now just realised that I am in a mute-free zone because I'm on the Mac, so I don't have my cough button. So we will carry on.
Carry on, but I will say, Ben, like, you know, when we were all kind of brainstorming Ultra Glow and kind of thinking about messing with a holy grail of S Glow, like, we definitely didn't do that. We didn't do that willy-nilly, you know. We did not. It is a beautiful new effect, and you know, I've said it before. I pretty much have used S Glow my whole career. It is completely replaced by Ultra Glow, but they are the same thing, so I don't feel bad, right? Like it is S Glow under the hood, just with so much more added on top of it. So it really is like an evolution of S-Glow. So that's my way of wrapping my head around me turning my back on S-Glow that has saved me for 20 years.
But I mean, and then that's the thing, is that Ultraglow just it takes all the best bits of S-Glow and then it just adds more stuff. It builds on them. It lets you do more things that you couldn't really do. We always had atmosphere and but edges and highlights and just the afterglow, the secret of the afterglow. It's all about getting more stuff done with fewer parameters.
Right. And once you kind of get
changes,
once you get comfortable in Ultraglow 2, it's impossible to go back, right? It's just like, it's almost like reaching for like a lost limb. Like, sometimes I'll just be lazy and just be dragging S-Glow on things. And it's like, oh, no. I'm totally thinking about this in a different way. Like I got to go back. So definitely, if you haven't tried Ultraglow, try it out. You will love it.
Yeah. And even for like non-traditional uses of glow, like I've got here, which is just taking this, someone who's got a secret, but then sort of using S-Glow to build on some kind of interesting lights, so all of a sudden it starts to have a little bit more depth to it. There's so much stuff you can do with Ultraglow. So much stuff. I mean, this is actually, I'm just going to copy and paste because I know we're running short on time here. But this is another one of the builder presets, which is just, if I'm not sure of where I'm going to go, this is a builder preset. I've set 2 keyframes on it to kind of make it go a little bit, just to animate it up a little bit. Added on a gradient, multi-gradient thing, just to give it a bit of color. And then just add on a bit of Ultraglow. Ultraglow with edges turned on. So that's edges turned off, edges turned on.
Love it.
I just play that back. And it starts to feel like a completely different effect. So this is at a point where I would probably just hit render on this, but I'm never too sure about what rendering is going to do to the live stream. So we're just going to keep it playing back. I think it's going to be fine.
You are a wise man, my friend.
I am a wise man.
Number 5, ready?
We're here.
Right.
Come on. Number 5. And this is the return of Builder. Except this time we are working with S-Transition instead. I've cheated again. Haha, I fooled you all. So we're combining the transitions that we looked at the beginning of the presentation, and we're combining Builder, which we saw about halfway through, for one of my favorite transitions ever. So let's take a little look. I say little look. I actually do mean a little look on this one. So let's come over here. I've got a jump cut that I need to elide. I need to transition between. So I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to come into Builder. But I'm not going to look at it in the video effect. I'm going to look at it in video transitions. And I have S transition. So plonk that on top, play that back. Oh, look at that. It's a dissolve. It's awesome. I don't want a dissolve. I want something good. Something better than a dissolve, Ben. That sounds like you need to load up a preset. And take a look at this. These are another 80 transitions that you never knew you had. When I'm speaking to people who've been using Sapphire for a while, and then they see this stuff and I didn't know I had this. It's like, did you look? No. But there's so much stuff here. So we've got like film rolly stuff. We've got light streaky stuff. We've got Kaleido shake warp. What is this one? That's actually kind of cool. But I don't want that. I want something that has been created by Mr. Brian Fox. I'm going to type in Brian over here. And do I want cutty transition?
Look at that description.
It's awful. Look at that. Let's do trailer flash cut. There we go. This is the one I want.
At least I did a sentence there.
Look at that. So we've got trailer flash cut. So we're just coming in. We're just flashing in. Got a lovely little thing. I don't have to do anything because S-Transition handles all the hard work for me. But it's kind of flashing in. It's got blur happening. It's smoothing all that stuff out, and obviously it's still completely changeable with parameters. I like the work you did here to to kind of carve down the parameters. I think that was really nice.
What?
Yeah.
Just say thank you. Just say thank you.
Actually, I do say thank you. This I've actually used this transition a fair amount in some of my faster promos.
That's something, honestly, I used to do all the time, where I just, add edits. I would back up from a cut, do two frames, and I would just like haphazardly throw on glow and throw on blur and resize, and just to do anything to get like frenetic energy. But the beauty of doing it with S-Transition, right, is that with that style, you have to do that every time you want to do that cut, which is painstaking. Yeah. And then someone wants to modify it. So if you do it all in Builder, it is completely dynamic and stretchable. It's just like a dissolve. So you're still getting that cutty style. But, you can just move it. You can drag it around. You can copy and paste. It has been a
It's working smart.
Yeah,
it's working smart because you're working faster, and if people don't like it, you haven't wasted 15 minutes setting up something that someone's going to go, we need that to be a little bit faster or a little bit slower. Here's another little one where I've just got I just need to get through this shot faster. So halfway through, or a little bit over halfway through, I've just got a huge speed ramp in there that I need to cover. So I'm going to come in again with another S transition. Let's bring this one in here. Let's make this one shorter. See how short I can make it. Probably the size of that, which is obviously 6 frames. Bring that in there. And I'm going to use another little preset. Loads of these. I'm going to type in Brian because he likes glows. He likes blurs.
Oh, the glur.
He's got himself a glur.
The glur.
Look at the glur. It's a classic glow into blur.
I'm just thanking Ben Brownlee. There's a sentence description on glur.
Look at that. That is exactly what I wanted. So we've got that kind of effect, and I think if that's too bright, which probably, I don't know if it is on that one really, but if it is too bright, we can always come in and we can always change up the brightness, change up the threshold. We've got all of that still available to us, so we can come in. Oh yeah, no, that's much better, obviously. I'm going to show you one thing here. We were talking about the mind of an editor, right, or the mind of the people that make these transitions. I've got this one here. Hang on, this is, it's 112 frames long.
Oh, I do love this one.
Hang on. Right, so I'm going to load this as a preset. This is again another preset. I'm trying to remember what this one's called. Oh, it's multi-stripe wipe through color, of course. Look, that's how you do a transition. Look at that. It tells you what you do. It says what it is. A fun effect that works best for transitions 1 second or longer. So look at that. So this is how it comes straight out of the box. And some people actually take a little bit of time to come in and just prune down all the things that you'd need. So if I wanted to change the color, I don't have to find out where it is. I could just change the color here. I can make this one, I don't know, black, and turn this one, I don't know, back to red or something. And I've come in, I've you know, customized my effect up a little bit. But this is a fun one, and I remember this one because this is one that took a little while to get through the thought process on this. So basically, this is the from, and this is the to, and there's lots of little different bits that are going on in that from and that to. But we have a transition in here, and the transition is S film roll, but actually it's not S film roll. It's nothing because it's not connected to anything. So really, all this effect is doing is being an excuse to let me completely make up a totally customized transition using regular Sapphire filters. I'm not using any of the transitions, but because I built it in S transition, it allows me to use that as a transition preset, which means that I don't have to worry about doing any kind of you know, big major animating or keyframing, because all the keyframes are done for me. And hang on a second, like all of this stuff, all the keyframes are done for me here based off of the length of the transition, so that this timing is always perfect, no matter how long or short the transition is going to be. And I don't have to worry about keyframes at all. And this is an absolute godsend way of working. So that means that you can get as creative as you want to, or, which is something that I'll do in 97% of the time, I'll take a preset and then tweak it up just a little bit to make it mine and make it fit into what I'm doing. And that really is the you know, the beauty of S transition.
That one's super slick, because exactly that, you completely hacked S transition, right? And you ignored the base transition. But that's a good point, because within S transition, every single Sapphire transition is in there as an effect, right? So it becomes like this mind-numbing, like, scene from Inception, right, of infinite regression, where there's like transitions, and then transitions can have transitions inside them. But I love to tell people, like, you can really get in here and kind of rip apart what you did, like we talked about earlier, and great way to learn how to build these from custom, or you can completely ignore this and just do what I do, which is use your preset and drag it on. I think there's over 80 transition presets in SFX. So people are always looking for new transitions, right? People are always like, what else do you have? What else do you have? And I tell people, like, look at S transition. There are new ones being added in all the time. And those are often like the most cutting edge ones, because they're being built by people using them, like yourself, and like, you know, like friends of ours, like Angus Emerson, and all of these editors who use transitions like crazy in Sapphire, build them themselves. We add them in. And every new transition we add to Sapphire, every hard-coded transition like Hyper Push and, you know, Whiplash, like, in many ways, I think of these as like, I'm really excited about their new tools inside S transition, right? Like, we now have Hyper Push inside S transition. What is Ben, or what is Alan, what is John going to do with that? You know, like, combined with, you know, Ultraglow and all that kind of fun stuff. It really is like kind of like a really, you know, almost like a fun transition, almost like, you know, synthesizer, where you can just keep adding in all these different elements together and get something really new. So really cool stuff. Everybody should check out S transition, the presets, if you're into transitions.
And you should be into transitions.
Should.
Do you know why? Because they're in my top 5. Look at that. And with that, we have done the top 5. So number 1 was obviously the transitions coming through. We know what a big effect those actually have. Number 2 was my film effect, where I could come in add the little bit of spicing, a little bit of salt and pepper to the end of an edit, just to push it over the edge. And if Film Effect wasn't enough for me, then obviously you've got Builder, where I use my quick film finish preset, or any one of the other 100 and something or other presets that are in there now to basically come in and build up brand new effects, completely customizable. Number 4, a firm favorite, and one close to both of our hearts obviously, is Afterglow. Knowing the importance of glow, and then taking it and then using it as an editorial tool, and not just as a kind of a big brash way of using a glow. And then my final one is again cheating, Builder, but with the S transition. So coming in and rolling your own transitions, which is really something that I enjoy a lot. Just one last thing with that transition before we go away. I know we are running out of time completely. Where are you now? It's probably in here somewhere. In fact, it's definitely in this one. I'll show you this effect here, this transition. That one there. Right, there we go. Let's play it back there. That one there. This was actually based off of a John Dickinson preset that I then came in and added more stuff to it, because I wanted everything to just be completely different, and his stuff looked great. And I thought, okay, his stuff looks great. Maybe we can add a bit more of a glassy effect or something to it. And I just came in and just built on top of the presets. And that's something that's nice and easy to do, and I would heartily recommend people do it. It's done. We're done. Let's turn off the screen share. Let's see. Is this me? Am I here?
It is you.
I think I'm here.
Look
at that.
What?
Oh my God, he's actually put the t-shirt on. Look at that. That's what you do. You cut away from Brian,
right?
For 30 seconds. He does a costume change.
Petrified I hit the wrong key and everyone would have seen me changing into a t-shirt.
That's when the view count goes to 0.
That's already happened. All right, let's give away our prizes, right? 100%.
Hey. Excellent. Let's start with a 12-month subscription of Sapphire. Some people call it a year. Brian calls it 12 months. It's going, whatever you call it, it's going to Lucas Ambrosio. Congratulations, Lucas, for winning the annual subscription for Sapphire. That is an $895 value prize. Congratulations to you, Lucas. Well done. And our big prize, the annual subscription for the Boris FX Suite. This is the biggie, going to Alice Bergio. Alice Bergio, congratulations. You have won our big Boris FX Suite prize. Well done. This is obviously where everyone in the chat applauds. Applaud. Well done, Alice. Well done. All of our winners today. In fact, we've given away tons of prizes today. If you haven't won, not to worry. There is going to be another live stream coming up very soon where you will have more chances to win more prizes. And that's going to be great. When is the next live stream coming?
Our next live stream will be in 2 weeks. Same time slot, Wednesday at 2 p.m. So not next Wednesday, but the following Wednesday at 2 p.m. EST, and I believe that is 6 p.m. UTC.
I believe you are absolutely correct. Yes, you are correct. Yeah, no, you are correct. Well done.
Congratulations to all the winners, though. For we will be reaching out to you and contacting you. So thank you, everyone who entered, and congratulations to all the winners. Thank you, Ben, for a great presentation. Thank you for giving me, keeping me honest with my descriptions. I appreciate that. I totally appreciate it. But great work as always. Can't agree with you more on your top 5. For me, it's all about S Effect, S Transition, Afterglow. And film effect, I'm guilty of using way too much as well.
Yes.
So yes, totally agree with you. Super excited, like I said, to see that snappiness on the M1s. Wanted to point out other two that, like, as a host app, as a plugin, Sapphire, it's like we are currently native and running on M1s. It's all about the host apps now working, so it can be in conjunction. And so Premiere has joined the party, but I would be not to remiss to say that Resolve currently works as well natively on the M1. So Sapphire and Resolve as well work great currently on the M1 processors. So we look forward to all of our other hosts. That is all coming down the pipe for full M1 support. Sapphire will be ready. And like I said, it is so fun to see that kind of snappy interactivity on that preset browser. Now I need one. So I'd like you to ship me that new Mac you got, Ben, so I could use it as well.
We'll talk about it later.
Great job. Yeah. Great job.
Yeah, well, I just want to say thank you to everyone for watching today. If you've missed any of our stream and you want to go back to it, it will be available actually very, very shortly as a repeat live stream. So just go to our YouTube channel. If you want to see and learn any more about Sapphire or any of the Boris FX products, we have hours and hours of free tutorials on our website. So just head on to borisfx.com. Go up to the videos page, and you will be able to learn and filter and learn about all of our products here. There's always new stuff coming along. We've got some. There's our lovely Sapphire tutorials there. We've got a big series for particle illusion, and I would be remiss not to say that congratulations to Particle Illusion 2021.5 standalone coming out today. So we have a big Particle Illusion series as well. If everyone wants something free, then head on over to borisfx.com and you can download Particle Illusion standalone for free. Brand new, updated, 3D, tons of really, really cool features in that. But we've got to go. We're going to be talking about Particle Illusion another time. We will see you again very soon. I want to say thank you to you for watching. Thank you to Jake Benjamin for being our gracious guest and talking a lot about editing. Thank you very much to Brian in Mission Control, and I will see you all again soon. Bye for now.